Listen, you deserve a man who loves you, respects you, and cherishes you. Do not settle for less. So please understand, if he does any of the things I'm going to mention in this video, it is time to let him go. So anyways, let's get right to it, all right? A lot of women deal with a lot of nonsense, okay? And sometimes not sure when they should let the guy go, give him a chance, maybe this can be fixed. And I'm here to kind of clear this whole thing up and give you the information you need so you can make a well-informed decision and do what's truly best for you. So I'm going to break this whole thing down, and we're going to start with some major red flags you need to look for in men. All right. And now let me just also mention, I'm going to say some things you're probably not expecting. All right. And some things you probably are going to expect. But either way, comment below. Tell me what you think some of the red flags are. But let's get to it. Red flag number 1 in men to look for. He asks you to go 50-50 on the bills. Now listen, I'm joking and I'm kind of not joking. Okay. Let me break this down for you. So now clearly, asking you to go 50-50 is a relationship thing, and we've gone past the dating phase. But let's start with the dating phase. You go on a date. Let's say a man asks you out on a date, and this man is asking you at the end of the night to now split the bill with him or to even cover the bill with him. This is a red flag to me. Now, here's the thing. It's not that I think it's wrong if a woman decides she wants to pay for a date. Not that I'm telling you should. That's your decision, okay? Nothing wrong if you decided you want to go Dutch, whatever the case may be. If you offer to cover the tip, I always say that's a great thing, just offering to pay for the tip. All those things are okay, but we're talking about this man took it upon himself to ask you on a date and then ask you to either go half or pay for the date. Here's the thing. No man who is serious or trying to impress a woman is going to be taking the risk of asking her to go half. I'm not saying it's impossible for a man to like a woman and do that, but it is extremely unlikely, all right? Because men understand that when they find something or find a woman that they value or see value in, that they highly desire, they're trying to make sure they give themselves the best chance of moving forward with that woman in whatever direction they're trying to go. So men inherently know pulling a move like that, it's probably going to work against you. So the fact that he's willing to do that says he probably is not taking this situation that serious. But let's move on into now maybe, let's say he didn't do that in the first date. Let's say he took care of it. You guys, got to know each other. You liked each other. Now you get in a relationship or you're about to get into one. And whether it's you guys have discussed getting into it or you're now there, at some point, he talks about going 50-50. Now, listen, I think it's very smart, very wise for a woman to discuss these things in the dating process, to find out what kind of mindset this man has and how he goes about the finances in a relationship. Now, let me make clear, it's not that I'm completely against the idea that two people decide with each other that they want to do 50-50. Now, personally, I do believe in the man being a protector and a provider. I personally don't believe in asking a woman to pay 50-50. And I think men should strive to put themselves in a position or have that flexibility. But the reason why I bring it up as a major red flag, and here's the caveat before I continue. If he makes significantly more than you, or he has enough money that he can easily cover the bills. All right. That's the important part, because if this man is genuinely either, I don't want to say broke, but let's just call it what it is. Let's say he's broke or he generally just doesn't make that much, but you guys have found love in each other. You two have agreed you want to move forward with each other, and you guys agree that going 50-50 is the best financial route for right now until maybe you guys get to a better place. I can't knock that, because he's in a genuine place where he can't do more than that. I would still encourage any man that if you can't go better than 50-50, then make sure you are still contributing to the relationship in other ways that remove some burden off of the woman. But again, that's a fair scenario. But we're talking about a scenario where this guy is capable. He has it. And he's still asking you for 50-50. Now, let me paint the picture very clearly. I've had situations where a client, let's say she was making $35,000 a year. The guy that she was with was making $85,000 a year. They move in together and he asked her to go 50-50. To me, that's absolutely ridiculous and a huge red flag, because when a man has it and he is truly in love with a woman, truly into that woman, truly serious about that woman, he wants to do for her. All right. If you surveyed men who are genuinely serious about relationships or serious about the woman they're with, and again, they have the resources, they don't have an issue at least carrying the greater burden financially. So for that man to be in a position where he can, but he chooses not to, says to me, he is not that serious about you in this relationship. Some people may want to argue that, but I'm sorry, I just have not found that. The only maybe, what's the word? Exception, it took me a while to get it. Exception to this is he's been traumatized by being used for his money before, which you can still then argue, is he truly ready for a relationship if he's now going to carry that emotional trauma and baggage into the relationship with you, all right? But let's leave that exception to the side and just go with not. This guy just believes 50-50. Now listen, here's the other problem I have with 50-50. There's a lot of problems I have with 50-50. I'm going to do this a whole video on that, and I have a previous live I posted on the channel where I talk a little bit more about 50-50. But anyways, to me, he's making 85, she's making 35. Let's say the rent or the mortgage, let's say the rent is $1,000, all right? Both of them contributing $500 is not 50-50 to me, because one makes more money than the other. 50-50 to me, real, genuine equality in that dynamic would be 20% of her income, 20% of his income. Something of that nature where it's the percentage of income. So now the burden of the financial contribution is more equal, rather than she's taking a bigger chunk out of her money, and to him that $500 is nothing. All right. So I don't want to drag too deep into this or go too deep into this right now, but I do believe, again, there is a real concern when a man who is in a position to take care of that woman, or again, at least carry the burden, a greater burden, maybe it's 70-30, whatever those two people want to agree upon, if he's not even willing to do that, how serious is he about you? And it's typical from what I have seen that the man who is asking this woman to go 50-50, when again, he is capable of at least carrying a heavier burden financially, when you evaluate the overall relationship, there's other issues. There's other things he's not doing. There's other ways he's being inconsiderate. There's other ways that he's neglecting the woman, which all plays to the fact he's just not that serious about her. But I guarantee if he was madly in love with that woman, it would be a completely different story. So again, this is something that you should discuss as early as possible, because you don't want to wait till you're in that dynamic, in that situation, to now find out this is how he feels about you, okay? You want to talk about it, because most men, it's rare for a man to say in the dating process, oh yeah, I'll take care of the bills, I'm this, I'm that, and then turn around and say, nah, it's 50-50. That's typically not going to happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but that's typically not going to happen. So he will show his cards if you're willing to ask the right questions. So you got to dig deep and find out where he stands with that, because again, it may seem like an insignificant issue. And for those of you who say, well, I don't have no problem giving my half, that's cool. But his mindset on this speaks to a larger issue at hand and can be a huge red flag. So let's get to number two. Number two is he isn't willing to discuss issues. All right. So I can't tell you how many times I've posted a video, posted a quote, whatever, talking about the need to talk to your partner and express yourself. And women will comment saying, well, what's the point? I can't talk to him. He never listens. And my true, genuine response to them is, then why the hell are you with him? Like, I don't get it. If you cannot talk to this man, if you have made several attempts and he shuts you down, he's dismissive, he dances around this topic, he deflects, you simply cannot communicate with him, why are you still there? The reality is that this is a huge red flag simply because there is no way you can have a successful, healthy relationship with a man who is unwilling to communicate with you. Now, granted, I understand some men have a struggle with opening up and communicating. But let's start with, is he even willing to listen to you? Because in this example that I'm giving, this man is shutting the woman down over and over and over, not even allowing for her to express herself. That's a huge problem. And again, it's a problem because without communication, how can we overcome these issues? How can we solve these problems? How can we get on the same page? As well as for you to have to be in a relationship, a committed relationship where you're pouring into this man, but you feel unheard, you're going to start to feel devalued. You're going to start to feel disrespected. You're going to start to resent him. It's going to create a lot of negative and toxic energy. Then, whether it's conscious or subconsciously, you're going to start to retaliate. You're going to start to act out. You may start to withhold intimacy. You may start to speak more disrespectfully to him. You may start to be more shut down with him. Things that are only going to make matters worse. And the sad reality is that many of you, or you know many other people who've done just that and who have tried to drag along these types of relationships for months, for years, and continue on. Again, it is very important that there is an established environment of communication and openness and transparency, and that has to begin in the dating phase. You don't wait till you guys are in an official relationship, but you don't wait till you get married to try to figure out if you can talk to each other. You've got to figure that out while dating. You got to get deeper into each other while dating. And I think one of the problems is that so many individuals, and this may apply to you, are so afraid to be vulnerable, so afraid to open up and show themselves that they restrict the ability to go into in-depth conversation while in the dating process. And instead, they remain on the surface of the relationship, just enjoying it, getting along. Again, we have fun together. Maybe you guys are having sex and it's great sex, whatever the case may be. And you're letting that be the reason why you can push forward. But you're not actually allowing yourself to let the guard down at least enough, which I think you should let it go down completely, but that's another video I'll explain more in depth. But let it down at least enough to dive deeper into each other to see, can we even talk about have the deeper discussions? Can we talk about the things that maybe are a little bit uncomfortable at times? It's important that we explore that so we know, are we with someone that we can really talk to? Because if not, it's just not going to work. And so if he's unwilling to communicate, he's unwilling to hear you out, then this is a huge red flag you need to be aware of. So now number three. Number three is he doesn't want to give you a title. Now listen. Some of y'all might be saying, titles ain't important. What's the big deal? You know, as long as we love each other, blah, blah, blah. All right, listen. It's extremely important. Again, the title is important because it's about the message it sends, and it's about the mindset of the individual when they don't want to give you one. I've seen so many people drag along in titleless relationships, situationships, all right, not truly knowing what this is and nothing truly being defined. And then seeing that lack of definition blow up in their face later when they actually seek some clarity on the situation. When the woman now goes to the man and says, okay, well, what are we doing here? And he's like, yo, we're just enjoying ourselves. Like, I never told you you're my girlfriend. I never told you I had plans for you to be my wife. I never told you anything other than let's just have fun. Let's just go with the flow. You know, whatever. So you're only playing yourself when you allow yourself to go without the title. My thing is this. For those who say it's not a big deal, if it's not a big deal, then why not give it? If it's really not that serious, then why is it so hard to simply say officially, you are my girlfriend, you are my man, we are in a committed relationship? Is that really that hard to verbalize? Is that really that hard to put a stamp on? I don't think so. So when you are unwilling to do that, it speaks to the fact that you are trying to leave the door open. In most cases, that's what's going on. You're leaving the door open for other possibilities. You are not trying to be held to certain standards. Now, speaking about the man or even the woman, but this is for the women. So the man who is unwilling to give definition to the relationship, that's typically what it is. Now, I have come across scenarios where some men have expressed to me where they've been traumatized, where they were dating a woman and they felt like the minute they put a title on it, everything went left. All right. And I'm not saying that wasn't a genuine experience that happened, meaning that didn't honestly happen in their life. And I'm not saying that they aren't honestly traumatized. Okay. I believe that can happen. However, again, that speaks to unresolved trauma. And that means, are you truly ready then to be in any kind of relationship if you're still holding on to what happened in the past? You need to resolve that. And so as the woman who is dating that man possibly, he can't just use that as a scapegoat and an excuse. He has to face his issue. And he has to be willing to now give you the title. Now, here's the thing. If you are a woman that knows you want a title, please do not it's not even a compromise. Please do not sacrifice the need to have some kind of definition, some kind of clarity to the relationship. Because you trying to act like you're okay for the sake of holding on to him is only going to destroy you slowly but surely from the inside. It's only going to cause you to become miserable and again, create insecurities, create other issues. And then what you don't realize is your struggle to handle that. Because it's going to come to the surface some way, somehow. Your struggle to handle that and now seep out in a negative way is only going to add more damage to the relationship. And so now what will happen is he will use those moments of acting out and your moments of insecurity against you to say, this is why I don't want to be with you yet. This is why I won't give you a title. You see, he will use it against you, but that's because you played yourself by trying to act like you were okay. You should have been real from day one. Now, I don't want you to beat yourself up because some of y'all might be in that situation right now. But I do want to encourage you to stand in your truth, to express yourself calmly and lovingly, and I'll get more into that later in the video. But the point is, be real about what you want. But understand when he is unwilling to give you a title, that is a red flag you have to be mindful of. So now let's get to number 4. And number 4 is an obvious one, when he gets verbally or physically abusive. All right. So this is a delicate topic in the sense that, many women have gone through this. Many women have gone through this silently. And unfortunately, I have to say that so many have tolerated it because they've seen this growing up. They've seen this in their households and they've become accustomed to the dysfunction of verbal or physical abuse. And I want to say especially verbal abuse because there's this tendency to want to excuse verbal abuse. And what I mean by that is, for example, just an example, I've seen people, let's say someone is married and the woman is being physically abused. And they will automatically say, okay, leave him. He's putting his hands on you. You can't accept that. Leave. They understand that this is a line that has to be drawn. But when it's verbal abuse, they want to look past that. Oh, well, give it more time, give it a chance. And my thing is, that's a very dangerous approach in the sense that verbal abuse has very lasting effects, can cause a lot of trauma within someone, and can deteriorate them in more ways than one. And even though that person may not be physically putting their hands on you, they are physically harming you in the sense that all that emotional stress is destroying you. All that emotional stress is going to trigger disease and ailments and all kinds of issues. There are a lot of people who have developed all kinds of problems because they were in toxic relationships. So I don't want us to diminish the impact of verbal abuse. Of course, physical abuse, we know what that is, but verbal abuse is something that should not be overlooked. So ultimately, when a man is getting verbally abusive, now, of course, I'm not saying the minute he says something, that he shouldn't say, that means run for the hills. And again, I'll explain a little bit more about that as we go along in the video. But it is a red flag. At the end of the day, when he gets verbally abusive, it is clearly a red flag that has to be addressed. All right. And I will say that just as I mentioned that there are women who tolerate it because of what they grew up in, there are men who engage in it because of what they grew up in. And they also think it's normal. That's not to make an excuse for it, but it is to say that so many are transferring the energy that they lived through as a child into their relationships as adults. All right. And I have seen situations, and I do not want anyone to take this the wrong way, but I have had situations where men have come to me who were verbally abusive, and if I'm honest, who even at a moment was physically abusive, saying, I need help. I want to fix this. I don't want to be like this. I lost my cool. You know, I have a problem. But it's important to know that these men were seeking help. All right. They didn't just do it, say sorry to the woman, and then go back to acting like everything is all good. These men actually went out to get help. All right. Because it was a moment for them and not a consistent behavior. But don't take that out of context. I know I'm gonna have to do a video. I keep saying it. I'm gonna do a video on that to really go more in depth. But the point is, I just had to mention those things. But the point is, verbal, physical abuse, definitely a red flag. Definitely a sign that you're probably gonna have to let this man go. And I say probably because, again, I'll explain that more a little bit later. So keep watching this video. But that is an issue, bottom line. And you cannot tolerate it. You cannot make excuses for it. But here's something that needs to be said as well. All right? And please hear me out. You have to make sure you're not being verbally and physically abusive yourself. All right? That isn't to say that you having engaged in that is an automatic excuse or free pass for that other individual, for that man to do the same. It's just to say that I've seen too many times where the woman is contributing to or creating or even the main aggressor in having a verbally abusive or physically abusive relationship. And the truth of the matter is that there are men who are in physically abusive and verbally abusive relationships who unfortunately are not seeking help, who may feel ashamed, who may feel like they have nowhere to go to. All right. And I want everyone, man or woman, if you are in or ever find yourself in a physically or verbally abusive relationship, please, there's the domestic abuse hotline. Check it out. I'll have the number pop up on the screen for you. So make sure you give it a call so that you can get the help you need if you find yourself or are in those types of situations. But to get back to the point, as a woman, you got to check yourself too. Don't put your hands on him. You don't want him to put your hands on you. Don't put your hands on him. You don't want him disrespecting you. Don't be disrespecting him either. Everyone has to hold themselves accountable to not pouring toxic, abusive energy into a relationship. Everyone has to unlearn those behaviors and address the root issues that have led to you engaging in that. All right. But again, very important red flag you need to be aware of. Next on the list, number 5, is he keeps you a secret. All right. So listen, the reality is this. When a man is serious about you, when a man is serious about this relationship, he is not trying to hide you. All right. Now, let me make clear. It doesn't automatically mean that he wants to post you all over the internet. Some men are not into that. All right. So I'm not going to say that his unwillingness to post is this red flag automatically. Could it be a symptom of one? It is possible. But I don't want you to jump to that conclusion. I want you to evaluate overall. What is he doing in regards to showing you and putting you out there versus hiding you? So my thing is, if he's not posting you, you don't meet family, you don't meet his friends, nobody knows who the hell you are. Okay, that's clearly a man who's hiding you. And that's clearly a red flag, because why? Why? Is he hiding you from his other women or his wife? Is he hiding you because, again, he doesn't take you that serious? Is he hiding you because, again, he doesn't want you to think you guys are really in a relationship like that? I mean, whatever the reason is, you're not going to see a man who's genuinely in love or serious about a woman not want to introduce her to anybody No friends, no family, no nothing. Now listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, there are some situations where he can introduce you to the family and the whole family is in on scamming you in this relationship, okay? They're all in on playing you. And I hate to laugh, but I'm just saying it does happen. But typically, all right, a willingness to show you off, a willingness to present you, at least you can give some benefit of the doubt there. But when he's doing the opposite, the complete opposite, then that is a problem. And that is a concern because, again, men who are serious just don't behave in that manner. And I've seen a lot of women accept it under these BS excuses that are given. And to me, there's just no rationale for him not wanting anyone to meet you and know about you. I've even had some situations where the woman, the only time they met up was in a hotel room. All right. And she continued to deal with him. And it was like, why are you doing this? Why? Especially when you know you're not happy about it. Again, it's very important that you stay true to your feelings and what you deserve and what you require in a relationship. And if that cannot be honored and respected, then yes, you're going to have to let that man go. Number 6, and this one you may not have been expecting, but number 6 is he tells you all men cheat. Now listen. This might be a new one for a lot of you because, people don't really talk about this. But here's the thing. I'm going to be very transparent here. I think everyone is capable of cheating, okay? I think you put people in the right circumstances, push the right buttons, the stars are aligned. There's a lot of things that can happen, and sometimes you may find yourself in a situation that you never expected. I think that's possible. But the reason why him saying all men cheat is a huge red flag is because, number one, I do not believe all men cheat. Are there a lot of men who cheat? Yes. All? No, absolutely not. There are plenty of men who have never stepped out in their relationship, all right? And to be quite honest with you, there are plenty of men who are just happy to get one woman. So they're not trying to be out there. Hell, they just can't. They're not even getting women like that to have the option to cheat. So some may want to argue, well, the man who has options will cheat. That's a whole different discussion. We'll dive into that another time. But to flat out say all men cheat is to tell you, I plan on cheating. All right, think about that. If I'm going to say to you that all men cheat, I'm essentially preparing your brain for what's inevitable here. Because if I believe all men do it, that means I believe I do it. That means I'm not even trying to not do it. See, that's the thing. I'm not saying even the guy who does not say that won't ever possibly cheat. I'm not saying that even the guy who has genuine intention to not cheat may never find himself in that situation. What I am saying, though, is if he blatantly says all men do it, then chances are he plans to do it. Chances are that's the lifestyle he lives. Now, listen, you're a grown woman. If that's what you're okay with signing up for, that's your decision. I'm not saying to sign up for it. I'm not co-signing in any kind of way. I am saying you are a grown adult. So if a man makes it plain and clear to you that that's how he gets down, and you are okay with that, again, your choice. I'm just making it very clear that when a man comes out of his mouth and says, and I stress the word, all men cheat. If he says a lot of men cheat, I don't think that's a red flag. I think that's a reasonable statement, all right? Even though I don't necessarily agree, but I think it's a reasonable statement. But to say all men cheat, end of story, then that's what's going to happen. Plain and simple. So it is a red flag. It's something to be mindful of and to be aware of if you're going to move forward or continue to move forward with that man while in a relationship. Number 7 is he blatantly neglects your needs. All right. At the end of the day, a relationship is about two people. I stress two people, man and woman, pouring into each other. So please do not think I'm saying only he has to pour into your needs. You got to pour into his needs as well. It's two people pouring into each other, embracing each other's needs, respecting each other's feelings, willing to communicate. So when he is unwilling or when he is blatantly neglecting your needs, dismissing your feelings, This is a red flag. This is a sign to let him go because he's not serious about you. He is not serious about this relationship. He is unwilling to put forth the necessary effort to bring health and happiness to this dynamic. And it's important for you not to overlook that and neglect that. Now, I know some of you may think, well, why in the world would we be with a man who blatantly neglects us? Well, guess what? It happens every day. It happens all the time. I remember one time I had a client and she came to me and she was struggling with a man. And she said, I love him so much. I've been with him for a few years and I don't want to let him go. And I said, okay, well, tell me why you love him. And she went down the list of all the things she does for him. Everything she mentioned was what she did for him. And when she finished the list, I said, okay, that sounds great. What does he do for you? She dead silence. She had nothing to say. And she said, oh my goodness, he does nothing. And it's almost like this was the first time she was really, truly either realizing it, accepting it, or that it hit her in her face strong enough for her to be awakened. That the whole time she was basing the relationship off of what she was willing to do for him rather than the fact that he was doing nothing for her. And not just doing nothing for her, when she requested things, he was dismissing it. He was blatantly neglecting. He was blatantly pushing her to the side, her needs and desires to the side. This is a red flag. This is a reason to let him go. You should not accept that kind of treatment. Again, healthy, successful relationship requires two people pouring into each other to make each other happy. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Whether you are single or in a relationship or marriage, you need to watch this video because the reality is that you are very likely at some point in life going to find yourself